Hello and welcome to This Car Pod.
I'm Kennan.
I'm Filippo.
And there's a lot to cover today. Let's start with the news and let's start with Lucid.
That's tough. That's a tough
Lucid had some news this week. Filippo, you want to take us through what happened here?
Yeah, so Lucid has had some struggles of late, let's say. We talked last week about how the Gravity is being advertised as 0% financing because there's 0% interest. There was some reports yesterday, on Tuesday, that they had engaged a firm to help called Alex Partners that does like bankruptcy protection and restructuring things. Now, Lucid's statement unequivocally is that they are not going bankrupt. They're also not going private. And the goal of engaging Alex Partners is to just help them restructure. They brought in a new CEO. They fired a bunch of staff. They've restructured a bunch of things, and they want help doing that to try to help make them profitable. And by profitable, I mean losing marginally less money every single month. The market obviously has taken this as they're going bankrupt.
Well, I want to be clear. Alex Partners is not a company that helps with bankruptcies and restructurings. It's also potentially an advisor that could just help streamline and improve your business operations. It was a signal. Well, it wasn't just and it's not unusual for a company to hire an outside company to help them improve. A lot of companies we love have done that, including some of Filippo's favorites. But there was a report or a leak got out that maybe that one of the things they were considering and part of their improving their business operations was Chapter 11. They just have strenuously denied this. The stock market, obviously, word of this gets out and people start sniffing around, and it has a pretty negative effect on your stock price and just sort of the general feelings around your company, with which the stock price is highly correlated. Anyway, Lucid denied it like crazy. Mm-hmm. And for all we know, their denials could be completely accurate.
I bet they are.
They also might not be. Obviously, we know Lucid's been having trouble. They have an enormous amount of unsold inventory. Filippo told us something a couple weeks ago. We were talking about Lucid that they had slowed down production because they had so many unsold cars.
They have some supply chain issue with the Gravity. That means that they're not producing cars. They had paused production. They'd also cut a shift.
The supply chain issue is that so many of them are sitting unsold that they no longer need a supply chain.
They have all the supply. They don't need the chains.
Anyway, they don't know if they've said that the bankruptcy is not in their immediate future, and that could very well be true. But certainly they're not in great shape. And the stock, if a report came out that General Motors was seeking bankruptcy, I don't think the stock market would believe it. The response to this Lucid thing clearly proves investors' jitters already about the future and current state of this company.
To be clear, Lucid stock, if you zoom out, not doing great since launch, right? Like it's like there was a spike when they launched, and then when they went public, and then just slowly declined. There's a
lot of forces at play here. I for Lucid specifically, I think that they're in a uniquely difficult market position. They've kind of positioned themselves in this high-end luxury market. There were some pretty significant subsidies that were benefiting them initially when they launched that have gone away. So their already expensive products have become even more expensive. There's been a general turn away in consumer sentiment from EVs. Do they sell globally, Filippo?
I think in theory, but the U.S. is their biggest market.
The U.S. is the biggest market.
The cars are produced in the U.S. Well, they
build them here, which can't be cheap. They've already started. The market has just generally started to reject EVs, and those are a lot of that stuff is things that they couldn't necessarily control, except for maybe the price point. The real issue that they could have controlled, I think, was there is a perception that the cars are challenging to own. There's a lot of talk about software issues and glitches and other problems like that. And I think that at that price point, that helps to keep people away. I think that a lower priced vehicle, maybe that looked a little bit differently, would have had a little bit more success.
Yeah, I mean, they launched with a large sedan followed by a large SUV. They do have
large minivan.
That's right.
Sure.
Be very clear about that.
They do have smaller models coming up, but this is like a tough part of the segment to compete in, especially if you want volume. And thankfully, they have the Cosmos and the whatever the other one is called.
I just don't live in the world of coming up. To me, it's like the R2 is on sale. Like we got one live.
Yep.
Like the R2 is on sale today. The Model Y has been on sale for 10 years. You know, I don't live in a world of coming up. Filippo, I'm going to ask you as an automotive industry expert and owner of several mediocre cars, what, you think they're going bankrupt?
I think that they are exploring all possible options. Their actual statement, by the way, is that this consulting firm had not recommended that they file for bankruptcy. I think they still have a chance to split off some things, maybe sell some technology, get acquired, or continue creating models in some much more limited fashion. I have a feeling they will need to sell a lot of assets. They do have a lot of debt, which will be a struggle.
To what extent do you think the Saudi backing has an effect on people not purchasing the cars?
Minimal.
Really? I mean, you don't think there's a lot of California liberals who are trying to save the environment, which is probably their prime market, who look at the fact that, okay, saving the environment, oh, wait, the Saudis are backing this company.
If that
you don't think that
were the thought process, I think especially in California, Tesla would not have continued to have sales success, which they have with the Model Y and the Model 3.
Well, maybe. I mean, it's a different market segment. I feel like people who buy Teslas are making a decision based on, you know, price point and affordability, whereas people who buy Lucids it's an expensive car that they sort of see as a prestige object. And, you know, do they see it like that with the
I don't think it matters. I think it just, the product is a good product. The Air and the Gravity are both excellent products that are just not compelling to consumers that are looking for that, for a high-end luxury product.
You know what I would do if I were Lucid and if I wanted to succeed? Gas-powered.
Go after upscale nurturers and trend-setting achievers and active explorers?
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, can't you say?
Well, I was going to say to Filippo's point, I've seen a lot of, I bought this car before I knew Elon was crazy stickers. Haven't seen any, I bought this car before I realized the Saudis had backed it stickers.
Well, because that identifies you as an idiot. Elon being crazy, you could have made the argument, I didn't know, I did buy it before. But the Saudis have always been backing Lucid, so you couldn't make that argument except to say that you were just not doing your research. And I think that everybody who buys those cars knows about that. So
to your point, if we see one, we should be like, man, that guy backs the Saudis. We know. I don't think
there's a lot of other things you have to start considering.
The Golf thing is interesting. Yeah. Don't you think, Filippo?
The Golf thing is interesting. The Saudis have kind of demonstrated with Live Golf that they may not be willing to keep throwing good money after bad after a certain point.
We all thought, because the Saudis had come up with this idea for a building that was a mile long. I think it was supposed to be 100 miles long, and it was a mile long. And that we all thought that they just had endless money, that it was like Sultan of Brunei in 1996. And now we're learning maybe they have a limit.
It's also been a tough year. It's easy to feel bad for the Saudi government regime.
Okay, next news story, please.
Okay, all right. Well, let's move on there.
Interesting take.
Speaking of companies that are massively struggling, Volkswagen has said that they are going to need to be cutting up to 100,000 jobs, closing 4 factories, and cutting half of their cross-brand model lineup. I don't mean just the Volkswagen brand. Volkswagen Auto Group owns a lot of brands, or owns large stakes in a lot of brands, and has partnerships that also mean models across Porsche, Lamborghini, Bentley, Skoda, Seat, Volkswagen. There's a bunch of other...
Bugatti. When we look back on the auto industry in 30 years, we're going to look back on these years as being some of the most pivotal years in the automotive industry, where, EVs were becoming a thing, and China and globalization was becoming a thing, and then certain markets shifted away from EVs, and then there was it's crazy the kind of shakeup that's happening right now, and tariffs became a situation. It's hard to overstate just how big of a deal it is for Volkswagen to be laying off people and shutting down factories. Isn't Volkswagen's thing that they've never laid off anybody or something like that?
They are historically quite proud of their, especially in Europe, union relations and kind of the commitments that they've made and the commitments they've been able to hold to. They're going to be in a really tough spot, right? So their Chinese market's not going as well as they want to. That's a huge driver of their struggles. A lot of their new development, including EVs, hasn't been as successful as they want. They haven't actually launched most of the EVs that they planned for the U.S. in the U.S., and their U.S. sales are also just kind of mid. And in Europe, there's so much competition from the Chinese and other manufacturers that mean that they're struggling there too. And so they have to make really, really, really comprehensive cuts to remain at all solvent after a certain point. I mean, they have a lot of assets. They have a lot of, like, their balance sheet is maybe okay, but they need to take action now. They would argue that they needed to take action a few years ago, but they were really stopped by the German government and the unions, and that's really
well
to do that.
And then there was that whole thing where they were killing people with the emissions.
That was
do you remember that?
That was a tough point. But I want to talk, because this isn't just about the automotive industry, but also practical information for enthusiasts about the models that per some reports, they will be cutting or will no longer survive this. The Jetta and the Volkswagen Taos will be
The Jetta is still on sale?
The Jetta is still on sale. Yeah, they just had a big refresh for the third time.
Big.
Yeah. The Taos also just had a refresh, but that's not going to. This is not a Polestar situation where they won't be for sale in 2027. This is there will not be a next generation. There will not be another refresh. This is the end of the line. Yeah. Okay. There will not be a next generation Taycan.
What a shock.
Yeah.
Here, you know what? Wait, before you finish, I'm going to tell you what else there's not going to be a next generation of. There's not going to be a next generation ID Buzz. The Touareg will not return globally. The Volkswagen, what is it called now? The CC, which is now called the RDI.
That's dead.
That's already dead. That will not come back. The Passat will not be manufactured in any capacity in any market.
By the way, these are not ones that were named.
There's the T-Roc. Is there a convertible
The
T-Roc
sells
still?
well. The T-Roc sells incredibly well.
The Taos sells well.
Not compared
the Taos
to the T-Roc.
sells well.
It
sounds like what you're
shocked.
saying is they're having trouble profitizing small cars. And so.
That's part of it, but it's not just small cars, right? I think it's a lot of like trim variants that they will.
Oh yeah, we can go beyond Volkswagen. Yes, the Q4 definitely will not return if it still is in existence.
The ones that they've said are the Q5 Sportback and the Q6 Sportback. So the Sportback variant, obviously. The A1 Sportback, the Q2, the Fabia, the Skoda Fabia, which is actually a really notable small car nameplate.
The Q2 is going away?
I know, tragic.
Kennan! Filippo, Kennan, pull up a picture of a Q2.
One really interesting one is they have, this report at least says that they will, even though we've been talking a lot about Porsche's decision to figure out how to put an internal combustion engine in the 718, they've said that per this report, there will not be a gas-powered 718 coming. So we've had a lot of back and forth, where originally they said it was going to be EV only, and then they delayed the launch so they could have a gas-powered version. They've now, per this report at least, decided not to do that it's not worth investing.
I'm going to tell you something. Porsche dealers who have just been asked a year or two ago to build a brand new facility, after building a brand new facility a few years ago that looks like a football helmet, are going to be livid if they cancel the Taycan and the 718, and they're throwing EV Macans down their throats and EV Cayennes down their throats.
Yeah.
If I was a Porsche dealer, right? I would literally be on a plane to Stuttgart right now to start throwing some people, knocking some heads around. You know what I'm saying, Ken?
I do know what you're saying. That
if they don't do a gas 718,
apparently their plan is to, at least for this report from Bild, which is a German newspaper, that is the current plan, is to not have a gas 718. The electric 718 not on the axed list, so that might still happen.
The car nobody wants from the beginning is the car they're going to go with. That's a good decision.
Yep.
Boy.
Yeah, that's
and we're going to lose the Q2, which has been a fantastic partner for our Mexican listeners.
You know, I had a rental car T-Roc 4 years ago, and it was great. As most Volkswagen products kind of are, they're just good. But they're in a really tough position because the unions so far in Germany have absolutely rejected the plan to close 4 factories and cut 100,000 employees.
I would imagine.
It's gone down to 50,000 employees from kind of some recent statements. But they're in a tough position where they will need to have real cost savings. They will not be able to keep throwing money at things. The good news for enthusiasts is that there's no planned cuts to Lamborghini. Apparently, they already killed the EV, and that was probably the only thing they could.
Yeah.
And
hey, Filippo.
Bentley also okay.
Hey, are they going to keep making the Terramont?
I'm sorry?
The Volkswagen Terramont. Are they going to keep making that?
That's the Atlas, so yes. Just got redesigned for 27, by the way.
Doug, this is one of Doug's favorite things, is to try to get Filippo.
Oh, I have to look that one up, I'll be honest.
He had to Google it. He had to Google it. He doesn't know anything.
I don't know that one. It's going to be interesting. Like, some of them are obvious. The Q5 Sportback. Okay, sure. But also, how expensive is that?
Let me ask you this.
The Jetta. Wow.
Apparently, the Volkswagen Tiguan was named by combining the German word for tiger, which is something like tiger, with the German word for iguana, which is like leguan or something. Tiguan. Do you think that there's some regrets now that Volkswagen is cutting all these jobs? Do you think that there's some regrets that the car was named so stupidly?
I think they should have kept naming them after wins.
Wins.
There's always throwing
Yes.
wins.
Yeah, I think that was the issue they ran into. They ran out.
Yeah.
They really ran out. Just like
their sales.
Lamborghini will run out of bulls. All right,
No,
can we
they
keep the
won't.
story?
Bulls are born every day. The type
Famous
of win
ones are
doesn't
not.
change that much.
Famous ones are not.
Well, you
Take
wait.
time.
You watch that.
Have you ever just Googled yourself? I did it a while back and it was genuinely creepy. Way too much personal info just out there for anyone to find. Even if you're not a YouTube personality or just Ryan Lopez, it isn't always a comfortable thing to not have control over what information about you is available online. That's why I've been using Delete Me for years now. The more you put yourself out there, the more your personal info ends up floating around on sites you've never even heard of. Delete Me goes in and removes your info from data broker sites, companies that collect and sell your personal data to basically anyone, including scammers. It runs in the background and just handles it, so you don't have to think about it, which, given everything else I've got going on, I really appreciate. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Right now, my audience can get 20% off their plan at joindeleteme.com/DeMuro. Use promo code DeMuro at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/DeMuro, code DeMuro.
If you spent the last 5 hours packing your Fiat Topolino for the beach, chances are by now you're starving. Rather than waste that precious range you have going to an overpriced restaurant, you can get meals delivered at home with today's sponsor, Factor. Factor has everything that you want in a healthy dinner, but it's right in your fridge. You don't have to worry about chopping vegetables, cooking grains, and doing all the hard work. The meals come prepped and ready to eat. For me, eating healthy was never a willpower problem. It's a setup problem. Factor fixed that setup. They're fully prepared meals designed by dietitians, cooked by actual chefs, delivered right to your door. Not a meal kit, no chopping, no pans, nothing to clean. 2 minutes and you're eating. I've used this for my family, and I can tell you it is a really easy and really nice. And for anyone that has any weird dietary quirks, like for me, I'm vegetarian, there's tons of options. You don't have to stick with one sad pasta or portobello. You have tons of things to choose from for breakfast, lunch, snacks. They even had drink mixes and a protein bar when I ordered mine. My go-to right now is the 3-bean vegan chili with a cornbread casserole and tofu-based crema. It's the rare vegetarian meal that doesn't sound like a side dish pretending to be dinner. Whatever your goals are, weight loss, more protein, overall nutrition, GLP-1 support, they've got meals built for it. If you're a meat eater focused on strength and recovery, they've got the whole Muscle Pro collection too. Everything's fresh, never frozen, with over 100 rotating meals each week with Mediterranean and Asian-inspired flavors, so you're not stuck in a rut. I use Factor, and you should too. Head to factormeals.com/cars 50% off and use code CARS50 off to get 50% off and free daily greens per box with new subscriptions only while supplies last until 9/27/2026. See the website for more details.
I want to move on to talk about Porsche because, what's Volkswagen without Porsche?
God, and it's you, of course.
Yeah, of course. We have first half of the year Porsche results, and they're really, really interesting. Overall volume was in a tough spot because it turns out Macan availability is limited because they're not making that many Macans and nobody wants an EV. Panamera had a new design. Taycan sales are half what they were in 2025, but one bright spot, 911 sales. So far through 2026, we're about 8,500. That's up from 5,400.
Yeah, but wasn't the car was like ending its life cycle last year?
It was the dot one to the dot two. It's not a big transition.
Yeah, but it was this time because they switched to hybrid. There was a period where they didn't have any. I'll tell you this. They should be thrilled that they have the 911 and that they continue to erroneously convince people that it's some limited production car that they're still paying all the money for, because boy, do they not gotten much else.
Well, no,
have they sold any Cayenne EVs? Did they sell any?
Or they don't break out EVs versus not EVs, so I can't answer that.
That's good.
That's
good
smart
for them.
Overall sales in the first half of the year are down 15% year over year because everything else is not selling. Obviously, there's no 718 anymore, which was 3,700 sales the first half of last year.
You know what it feels like?
Porsche or 911, strong.
You know what it feels like for Porsche? It feels like 1992.
Yeah, that's tough.
They were circling the drain.
Luckily, we got, 12 more years before the Cayenne comes out?
What do you mean?
undersaved.
Luckily, the Cayenne changed the world.
I know.
Saved Porsche, and it has a low range.
Maybe 12 years from now, the new product that will change the trajectory will come out again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next news story, please.
Oh, Nissan.
This is the Nissan Altima. The Nissan Altima is dead after this year, which leaves a single sedan in Nissan's lineup, the Sentra. The Sentra
Is
got bigger.
anything
not a good
sacred? Is anything sacred?
I mean, the Altima is so old. It's we were all surprised when it stayed around for 2026.
Yeah,
Is
sure.
anything sacred? The Altima is an incredibly popular car. You see them everywhere. It's unbelievable.
The rental fleets will just buy Sentras instead. It works out.
First, they cancel the 4th generation Pathfinder hybrid after just one model year, 2014, and then they cancel the Altima. How could they do this to us? I was
know.
on the Pathfinder hybrid launch. I gave my time for
Were you
that
really?
car. Yeah, it was in Nashville.
Of course it was. That's where they're based.
Great.
The Altima being dead is a little bit surprised that there's not a replacement. Their view is we made the Sentra bigger, therefore it can play in this segment that we think is dying. Unfortunately,
Kennan, is
Enterprise will be
nothing
left with Chevy
sacred?
Malibus.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you guys a story. When I was 14 years old, we always talk about the mid 2000s being this like seminal point in car enthusiast history. It was an incredibly important point in Nissan's history too. I was 14 years old when the 2002 Altima came out. Filippo, Kennan, pull up a picture of a 2002 Altima. Who's running the thing?
The best car. The best car.
The
in that segment.
2002 Altima saved Nissan as a company. Look at that.
Yep.
There it is. Now that's a 2.5 SL. That was a rare trim, but
I did it for you.
the V6 was really the hot rod of the whole situation.
It was fast and efficient.
And this car saved Nissan. That's a V6. That's a 3.5 SE.
Yeah.
That was the right car. It saved Nissan. And here we are, all these years later, saying goodbye to this car, as if just tossing it aside in the wind.
Yep, pretty much. There are some. Nissan's product lineup is getting a little bit interesting. They also killed the Rogue hybrid or plug-in hybrid, but that's because that was an Outlander. The actual Rogue e-Power, which doesn't really matter. You don't care, Kennan. It's coming out next year. They also have the Xterra is coming out the next year or two. There's some other things entering, but the lineup is kind of sparse for a few years and very, very light on sedans and cheap cars.
I can't believe this. Now the Rogue, they have the Rogue and the misnamed Rogue Sport, which should have its own name, which would convince consumers that it's its own product, which it is.
Yeah. The Versa, by the way, also dead after this year. Just throwing it out there.
The Versa's dead. Kennan, what do we have left in this world?
Yeah, I
if the
don't know
Taycan is gone,
Right, how
and
am I
the
going to
Altima is
identify
gone,
very risky drivers with the big Altima energy?
They're going to drive Sentras. No, I mean those people drive used Altimas. Those people
true.
are still driving 08 Altimas with
Yeah,
the
that's
long
fair.
turn signal.
with
Boy,
the
is that
CVT
fair.
that somehow hasn't blown up.
But it's going
Yeah.
The Pagano. Can you name
Well, you know that
any of the Nissan
trick-
lineup?
currently.
Yeah, I have it up. I didn't need it, but I have it up.
Well, there are 5 cars they make right now?
There are.
I can name them all.
There are 7
I can name them all.
SUVs and 3 cars on their website.
7 SUVs.
3 of these are dead.
I can name them all. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Rogue,
Yep.
Rogue Sport, Rogue
no,
plug-in
the Rogue
hybrid,
Sport is no more. Sorry.
Rogue plug-in hybrid, which is a different car.
Yes.
Pathfinder,
Yep.
Armada.
Armada. Yep.
Oh yeah. Well, whatever. However you say it. Frontier,
Yep.
Altima Versa, Leaf. Oh, Leaf is an SUV according to them.
Yep. Leave his SUV.
Aria, is Aria still on there?
No, Aria's dead. I'm sorry.
I know it's dead, but sometimes they leave it on
Nope.
the website. I mean, I'm sitting here.
You're
Altima
missing
and
2
Versa are dead.
SUVs. They're two of their strong-selling SUV models.
2 of their.
And you've named many that don't exist, like the Rogue Sport.
Okay, hit me. What are they?
The Kicks, which is their small SUV.
Oh yeah, of course.
And the
Kicks.
Murano, obviously.
Murano's dead too.
No,
Murano's
it
still on there.
exists. It exists. By the
Yeah,
way,
but
you
it's
also
dead.
missed the Nissan Z.
Yeah, so did the consumers. All right, move on to the next news story, please.
Oh man, this is a disturbing graph.
Folks, this is a huge news story. The Grand Tour is back. We have Thomas James and the train fellow. And when is it premiering, Filippo? It looks like
September 4th.
September 4th, Labor Day. Mark your calendars. Instead of having a cookout with your friends and your neighbors, put on the Grand Tour. Here's what you do. You take a bed sheet. You hang it from your roof. You get a projector, and then when you're having your cookout, you project the Grand Tour, right, so that everyone in your neighborhood can see it. Do you agree with that, Filippo?
It's an idea. Can I tell you some of the things that they've announced will be episodes?
Please.
Yeah.
I'm very curious.
All right. Apparently from Amazon's press release, things that you will see on the Grand Tour. Crossing the Angolan Desert in track cars.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Exploring Malaysia's vibrant car culture. Heading
less
to
good.
California to test cutting-edge performance cars. Zinger.
That
only one.
sounds even less good.
And then challenging fighter pilots and even an entire nation's legal system.
That sounds good.
That sounds good. I don't understand what that means.
No, I don't either, but I'm curious to see what I'm very happy to give them a shot, of course. We love them. I'm very just curious to see how this trio works together.
I'm excited about it.
I'm into it personally. I will definitely give it a shot. I know there's a lot of angst on the internet right now about this, and it is impossible to follow up the other trio, if we're honest. It will not be the same.
Can't be the same thing, yeah.
Can you pull up the Proton Perdana? This is going to be
We're
relevant.
going to talk about Malaysia.
Yeah, pull up the Proton Perdana. Perdana. Proton Perdana.
Right.
Now, exploring Malaysia's car culture, folks, you don't even have to watch the Grand Tour, although you should.
Is the first generation, is this just a Regal?
It's a Honda Accord. Wait, go to a
No,
different
it
picture.
depends
I
on
can't
the
see
year.
picture.
I'll tell you that much.
There you go. Zoom in on that. Folks, this is the Proton Perdana. Now, I don't know if you are aware of this, but it's a Honda Accord.
It isn't.
Wait, it doesn't depend on the year. It turns out there was a heavy facelift and it stayed as a Honda Accord, but they just changed the look of it a lot. But it's still a Honda Accord. Look at that. That is just like a 2012 Honda Accord. This is Malaysia's car culture right here, folks.
Some Regal taillights.
But you see in the doors, it's a Honda Accord.
Yeah.
I see a lot of Regal.
I see a lot of Regal.
What you're getting at.
But I do see the door and the character line.
Malaysia's car culture involves this company Proton taking old Japanese designs and making them into selling them as new cars. Now I can't wait for the train guy to tell us about this. He's going to do a much better job explaining it than I did. Filippo, are you going to watch?
Of course, I'm very excited. I will watch. I will also say James Englesman texted me the other day and said,
you got text with him?
You consistently make sense on the pod. And so I appreciate that, James. Thank you.
You got his number? How'd you get his number?
He Instagram DM me, to be fair. But still, close enough. You can.
I got his number, okay? Now, I don't have train guy's number.
Francois.
But it's in Britain, so it's got a lot of digits. I don't understand why.
I think single-handedly started a Honda Fit or Honda Jazz craze. And I don't know if it was his doing or if he followed the craze, but the Honda Jazz in the UK is like a hot commodity right now.
Really?
Yeah, incredible, which as it should be. It's a good car. All 4 generations.
Well, hey, our
Only 3 in the
friend
US.
Kevin got one.
The first gen Fit.
Yeah,
That's right.
So, we should get jazz badges for him. Don't you think?
We should.
That'd be a good.
We should.
Filippo, here's an interesting factoid for you. Are you aware that the Honda Fit Jazz was called the Honda Life in China?
I was not. Thank you for sharing that.
I mean, you're just full of obscure facts today.
Should we move forward?
Maybe. Wait, go back a little bit. We got to give them a little bit more time. These are our personal friends.
I'm quite hopeful and excited that there will be more teasers coming out.
Kennan, are you watching this?
I am absolutely going to give it a try and see how it goes. Like I said, I really hope they don't try to mimic what the other 3 had done. I really hope they do their own thing. I'm very curious how these 3 work together in terms of. I know how these 2 work together in terms of chemistry, but I'm not sure how Francois.
Are you skeptical about? You're
I'm a little
still
skeptical about
the train guy. You're still skeptical about the train guy.
Yeah, I mean, I follow him, and his enthusiasm for trains is fascinating. But I am curious about how that's going to translate onto TV. He can't have a camera here looking down on us. That's his thing, looking distorted. I just don't know exactly how he's going to interact.
What happened to Chris Harris?
That's a great question.
He was involved in some show. What was it?
Top Gear. May have heard of it.
I don't know. Let me tell you my experience with Top Gear and Grand Tour. I watched the first Top Gear. It was the one that was with Clarkson and James May, and the other, the short fellow Hammond. And it was wonderful. And then they went on Amazon, and I kind of lost touch with which one was called. To me, Top Gear is those guys. So when they went on Amazon, I still referred to that as Top Gear, but then there was a different Top Gear that went on with the UK with Joey from Friends and Chris Harris. Is this about correct?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's accurate adjacent. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay,
Those are rugby
so
players,
Chris
yeah.
Harris was on Top Gear after the guys left Top Gear.
Yeah.
Yes.
And did that end?
It did. Not only did he stop doing that, but the whole show ended.
The show ended.
Yeah. Top Gear's dead.
We should bring that back. Why don't we bring that back to three of us?
There have been other spin-offs that I think have come back and forth. But the Grand Tour...
We're funny.
Well, Top Gear did, in fairness. Like it went away
one of
from
them,
the
but
program.
you're
What
good-
was.
Top Gear US. It'll be interesting, right? I think you can't compare it to what it was. I also didn't necessarily love all the Grand Tour episodes. I don't know that I've seen all of them because I don't... Whatever. It'll be interesting to see what it comes out as. I think people have to go in with an open mind, but hopefully we see more teasers, trailer, whatever, to give us a sense of what it will feel like.
People are fickle. Like it is a hard sell, I think, for a lot of people. But I am absolutely willing to give it a chance. Just like I gave Top Gear USA, shout out to producer Sean, who made that back in the day. I gave that a chance. I did stop watching eventually, but I will still give this a shot. I root for them.
I'll tell you this.
I want to see them do well.
I'll tell you this. I think we're going to give him a run for our money because we're going to run over Nick's Ford Focus. And we got a buddy, Kevin, who's got a Honda Fit Jazz City Life. And we're going to run over that too. So
That's too tall.
It's very tall.
It's not that tall. It's not
It's like quite
It's
an
like-
incline. Also, you can't kill a Fit. It's not allowed. It's too space efficient. It's not fair. All right, let's keep going.
Let's talk about the to-do list item that survives every to-do list. You know the one, make a doctor's appointment. It's been on there since, honestly, I don't even remember. Because making the appointment means calling during business hours, getting put on hold, playing phone tag with the front desk, and then after all that, finding out the next opening isn't for 4 months. So you just don't. And that item keeps rolling over again and again and again. I did this exact thing when looking for a dentist, putting it off way longer than I should have. And that's why I want to tell you about ZocDoc, because it removes every excuse I just listed. ZocDoc lets you search and compare local in-network doctors. You put in your insurance, and you're only looking at doctors who actually take it. You can see the actual appointment openings and click to instantly book a visit right there at 11 in the night in your pajamas, which is when all responsible healthcare decisions get made. And appointments happen fast, usually within 24 to 72 hours, sometimes even the same day. The thing that got me, it's free to use. The barrier between you and finally crossing that item off your to-do list is genuinely zero. Your health matters, and taking care of yourself shouldn't be complicated. Find and book the right doctor with ZocDoc. Head to ZocDoc.com/cars to get started and check that appointment off your to-do list. That's ZocDoc.com/cars.
Move on to the next news
all right,
story.
this is
We
gonna
got
be
another Topolino news
really
story. I'll give
quick.
you 9 seconds to make this interesting, Filippo.
All right. The Fiat CEO has said that they want to go after younger people with the Topolino. In Europe, there are countries where you can have a car.
Didn't happen.
Small
Next
enough.
segment.
They might come out with an Abarth thing. They said it would be really cool
There we go.
to have an Abarth Topolino.
Would you buy that?
Absolutely not, but maybe somebody would.
Maybe it'll, instead of 20 miles of range, it'll get 14 miles of range.
But it'll be faster.
And instead of not getting to 60, maybe it'll still not get to 60.
This is cute. I think there are communities in the U.S. where it will legitimately sell. I'm not saying do well. It will sell.
Coronado.
Yeah. In Europe, there's this whole market of small cars that don't require a full license to drive, which is where this plays. But apparently, they've mostly been getting mid-40s people to buy
Filippo,
them.
that's
It'll
an
be interesting to see
point.
whether you can get them to young people.
It's an interesting point that you mentioned that. If we were in Europe, would you be driving one of those three-wheel Fiat 500s?
No, he'd be on a bicycle, obviously.
Pull up, Kennan, pull up
He
the
said.
three-wheel Fiat 500. You know what I'm talking about,
Of
Filippo?
course. There's a company that converts Fiat 500s to 3 wheels and removes the 500 EVs, if memory serves, to 3 wheels or 4 wheels, really, but 3.
Are you aware of this, Kennan?
So that you can.
Are you aware of
fit
this?
the
I was
compliance
unaware of this. I like the one on
It's-
track.
It's a German thing only. Apparently in Germany, like 3 wheels is like a different driver's license qualification. Some Germans are going to write it in and give us the precise reason that this is done, down to the letter of the law and the days in which you can drive it
Every day.
per year. But there's some company that does this in Germany and to exploit some loophole. And if Filippo was a German boy instead of an Italian boy, look at that happy German kid. Zoom in on that. Zoom in on that happy German kid.
So happy my son today will learn how to drive in a car with the wheels are in the wrong place. But he saves so much money. It's wonderful.
There you go.
There you are.
Now we're getting the Topolino. All right, give us our next news story, which is a big one. A big one.
Oh, yes. Are you rich?
not a-
Do you want to go fast? So there's a new McLaren.
There's so many cars that are
I know,
exist
but
in that
McLaren
category.
is the king of it, and this is the latest in that edition. So this is the 788HS. This is going to be a limited production car. They're making 200 of them, 100 coupes, 100 convertibles. It makes 777 horsepower. The torque is the same as its predecessor, but HS stands for high
Wait, what
sport.
is its predecessor? Is its predecessor the 750S or the 765 LT?
750S. So it went 720S, then 765 LT, then 750S.
But isn't it a replacement,
Now
right? They're just like the 750S exists. They're just a high performance version.
they're saying this is the end of the line. This is the end of the line for the 720S based platform, which has been around since 2011, I think, which is kind of hard to. I think that's right.
With the 720,
not quite that long, but
Or
it's been around
not that
for a
long.
long
It's like
time.
2015, I think. I mean, it's
Yeah.
2017, something like that. But 2017 is a solid Amelia Island for that. But yes,
Yeah.
I mean, so it's another McLaren. Like to me, it looks like yet another McLaren. I don't know if I'm sad that the 720S platform is going away. I think it is actually one of their better platforms. But
life progresses.
life progresses.
You know,
but it's the same recipe as always.
Here's a 720S thought for you. I was having dinner with my friend Lucas the other night, and the following thought hit us. You know how the Ferraris, there are always people who like perfectly preserved. So there's like 7-mile Ferraris and like 2,000-mile Ferraris, and they're like pretty readily available because there's like preservation people for Ferraris. It doesn't matter the model, doesn't matter the year. You can always find like a low mileage everything. There is no one doing that with McLarens. like there is no guy who in his collection, you know, all plugged into tenders in their car covers, has like a 720S. Like every 720S is out there getting wrapped and tuned and bad wheels, and like all of them are in that situation. And it's going to be like first gen, in 10 years, it's going to be like first gen Gallardos, where you literally cannot find a nice one because they do not anymore exist. It does not exist. No one saved them. They were all bought by Bitcoin guys who wanted to go fast. They were all tuned. The interiors are ripped up. The paint is bad. The headlights, the panels are misfit. That's the future of every McLaren when it
That
becomes a
is
used
such
car.
an interesting point. I'd never really considered that, but you're absolutely correct.
You will not see nice. Now, you still can see nice ones now, 720Ss, but I think they're going to start hitting next owners over these next few years, and there won't be a single nice one in existence.
So maybe one person, please tuck one away for posterity.
okay.
But
Yeah, it's all right.
Well, I think the high performance,
long
more
tails,
limited edition,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
those
of course.
will exist.
No, the LTs and stuff is a different story. But I mean, like the
base
570S, the 720S, all the like regular performance McLarens are all just going to get beat up, driven hard,
That is-
tuned.
That is
into
so interesting
oblivion.
because, like, with all Ferraris, like you could find. I drove a 1900-mile 308 that we sold on the site.
Yeah.
Like all Ferrari models, there's an example of that. And they're
Oh yeah, and when you think about collections, the hushed room with Ferraris plugged into tenders and soft lighting. That guy does not have any McLarens. That guy does not want any McLarens. He has not ever thought. I mean, an F1, of course, or
F1,
P1,
yeah.
but he ain't getting a 720S. I'll tell you that.
No, or 788 HS probably.
Maybe.
Are these for sale?
They are for sale, but like I said, they're only going to be 200 of them. So I'm sorry, Filippo, you're probably not going to be able to get one. I know you're a rich guy who likes to go fast. So.
Love going
I
fast.
think that 200 units actually represents a pretty significant production run. When you're thinking about the end of the line for the 720S, I think you will be able to get one, Filippo, if you would like to get one.
I'm good. It's what, like 500,000, something like that.
They didn't announce pricing. There's speculation. It'll be in and around that price figure. Yeah.
Great.
Give us the final news story, the most important of all.
Yes.
Okay.
This one is for you, Doug. This is not the last news story, I don't think. This is an important one. So Lamborghini, their chief marketing officer, Goodwood, was this past week, and he said that they're going to continue to make Sterrato versions. They want to continue to make crazy editions of their cars. Now, he cited actually something very practical. He says, quote, "We have customers that live in the country. We have customers who use their cars to hook up a trolley with the horses.
Oh.
So they need a car to do that with." And that's his argument, an attempt at a rational argument, which maybe is a very Italian, what you want someone from Lamborghini to do, but
I don't know, man.
it's crazy. But they did specifically mention something, Doug, that you had talked about. You said they should do a Sterrato version of the Urus. They should do a specific off-road version, and they said that's what the car is. It already exists. At its core, it is built to do
Yep.
that. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get that. But I am here for them doing more like crazy, weird. I think the lift should be higher. I think they should do more crazy. It's fun that they
Isn't
did
it
this.
great? The irony: Volkswagen Group is canceling the Jetta,
But they're
and shuttering factories, but they're going to do off-road versions of a $600,000 sports car
Great optics
because
there.
people need to hook up their trolleys.
Right.
Yeah.
Filippo, you ever hook up a trolley?
I don't even know what that means in the context of a Huracan Sterrato.
I don't either. The whole statement was ridiculous. But I don't know. I'm here for these cars. I do think that is one of the most compelling versions of the Huracan. So if they make those with the John Tamarian, I'll be happy about that too.
Sterrato was not a strong seller. I'm surprised they're going to do more, but I'm thrilled they are. It's just kind of going to be a different car with the John Tamarian because it's such a heavy car. And it's such a big car that it probably won't quite feel as nimble, and it's going to be so expensive. The Sterrato, the Huracan Sterrato, was a pretty cool market segment. Yeah. It was a V10 still. It was relatively affordable compared to everything that has come later. It was kind of a cool little thing. It was kind of lithe, dynamic, athletic. All right, give us our actual final news story. Speaking of V10s.
Final news story.
Folks, this is the biggest and most important news story of the week, and I'm going to tell you why. Lexus brought its LFA to Goodwood, and we all discovered that it doesn't make sound. And the reason it doesn't make sound, Filippo, is because it is...
electric, but this is not a Discovery.
Electric. This is a Discovery. No, they've announced it already, but we all thought they were lying, and then they actually showed it to us, and we said, oh my God, they're telling the truth. Here's my problem with this, and I'm going to explain my thoughts, and Kennan, you can agree with them. The previous LFA is agreed by everyone to be an utterly mediocre automobile, with the exception of its powertrain and engine note. Those were the only distinguishing and fantastic characteristics it had. It was this level of car with this level of powertrain and engine note. And so for the new one, what they've decided to do is remove the only positive thing about the previous car. Am I wrong in thinking this?
It's okay. So it's not the only car on this platform. There's also the GR GT, which is
isn't that
V8
engine?
powered.
Doesn't that have a V8?
Yes, that does. So I think what they're trying to do is that they really want the GR brand to be the sporty brand in the Toyota umbrella. It is indeed a standalone brand in Toyota's eyes, even though the only GRs are the RAV4 and the Corolla in the US.
Okay, you still haven't given me any reason why the LFA didn't.
No, I don't have a reason, but I think what they're trying to do is they want to differentiate the Lexus offering, and just making it more luxurious doesn't make sense to them. They want the GR GT to be the sporty V8 track car, and they want the LFA to be like technology.
From the Lexus LC, which offered a V8 and a hybrid?
Yes. No,
and then they canceled the hybrid because it was purchased by 11 total human beings over a 10-year span.
I think all they're hoping to sell is like 12. EVs.
Hey, if they're hoping to sell 12, they'll sell them the same way they sold the LFAs, which was to Lexus dealers as a carrot that if they bought an LFA, they would give them more RX allocations.
Yeah.
However, if they want to sell to actual enthusiasts, we want a V10. Kennan, look into the camera and tell the world what we want.
V10.
Manual.
Yes.
That's what. Well, yeah, with a better transmission, that would have been nice. That was the worst part of the LFA, in addition to its price tag, was the transmission.
I know if the LFA had PDK, it wouldn't suck, but unfortunately it does.
And now they're $1 million. So.
And this will be an EV because they really do want Lexus to be like what they call it, the vanguard of the electrification for Toyota.
Ugh.
The vanguard of electrification. Yeah. The problem is enthusiasts.
That is not me making it up, by the way. That is literally a quote from their PR team.
Enthusiasts don't want electrification. Like ultimately, we learned this about the new NSX, which we've all been waiting for the market to realize is such a great car, and it's been 10 years now, and the market still hasn't realized it because people don't want that. People don't want it. Filippo, tell the market tell the world what enthusiasts want from their supercars.
Here's the issue that they run into. I don't think enthusiasts care about a Lexus sports car, and so why try?
What do you mean the LFAs are selling for like $1.5 million? What are you talking about? If they had made this a V10,
etc. are cool, but
if they had made this a V10, and the funny thing is, Lexus is like the only brand who can, because their emissions and carbon situation is so beautifully green. They're like greener than Filippo when he's listening to NPR and composting. I'm serious. They're like, it's like a situation. Right?
Lexus has surprisingly few EVs. They have two new EVs, the ES and then the 3-row, which is called something.
They have the BZ4X-RZ.
I don't know that they still do. I don't think they got redesigned. Most
importantly, they have an enormous number of hybrid cars, and they sell. Their lineup is probably vast majority of sales are hybrid.
The RZ did get a refresh. I apologize.
Thank you.
Remember it got more range, and it doesn't look as bad anymore.
Yeah. There's also the 3-row, the TZ. That's what it's called.
Well, that's
regardless,
not out yet, but yeah.
no, it's not. But it's soon.
Yeah.
Aren't we upset about this? You guys are not as outraged as me.
Don't give a.
Well, because I. Well, he doesn't.
I don't
that's
care
true. He
either
doesn't-
now. I don't care either now. This was
The
Lexus's chance
GR-GT
to, like,
will exist if you want a twin turbo V8. If you want a 911 GT3
I don't.
competitor, which is what they're
I
building.
want
it
a
as.
V10.
You have.
I
that.
want an NA V10. Like
Well,
like
go
my
buy
like
an
my
Econoline,
Carrera
Doug.
GT, like
Go
the
buy an
original
Econoline.
LFA, like the Ford E350. That's what I want.
I mean,
As long,
that's
thank you
great.
for adding the Ford E350. That's what I was pushing you towards.
I want a church van.
It's a good way to get you want a V10, just go to your local U-Haul. You got one. Available
Has
to you at
anybody
moment's
ever-
notice.
Has anybody ever straight piped or like put a great exhaust on one of
Yes.
those
Yes.
on one of those big old V10s?
I also love when they do like the Quigley 4-wheel drive conversion and some other mods. They're cool.
That
is our final news story for the day. Thank God.
Thank goodness.
Thank God.
That was quite a slog to get through. A lot of bad
lot of
news in
news.
there, honestly.
We have to move on
Volkswagen.
to the
That's
Talk
Volkswagen.
Cars segment, which of course is brought to you by bad decisions from Lexus.
Not to mention from every other manufacturer.
No, other manufacturers are doing great. Let's go through them all. Okay, Acura. Well, no, not so great. Audi. Oh, they're ditching the Q2.
Yeah.
Aston Martin.
It's going to be a tough list here.
Aston Martin's doing wonderful things. Although they need a G-Wagon competitor. Okay, the Talk Car segment is brought to you by Aston Martin's G-Wagon competitor. Filippo, you wrote on our list dash cams.
Yeah. All right. Kennan, I want your take. Doug, you can chime in if you want.
Okay.
All right. Friend of Cars and Beds, Steve, recently got rear-ended, but he has it all on dash cam, which has been really helpful in his like insurance argument. He like sees a C63 coming up behind him and hitting his R8 very clearly. I don't have any dash cams in my vehicles. I used to, but then the one time I needed it to work, it didn't work. Obviously.
Because you bought the cheapest one you
that's-
could.
Because I bought the cheapest one I could. Obviously.
That's a Filippo problem. You undoubtedly bought some crappy...
Yeah, 100%. I am debating adding dash cams at the very least to the 911, front and rear. Is it worth it? And is it worth like the effort of routing the cords and like pulling down the headliner and like people plug it into like the rear view mirror power to have it be always powered? Is it worth that work?
Yes.
Did you do it yourself?
Yes, Ryan Schultz and I did. I've had mine in my M5 almost since I got it. And to be honest, I haven't needed it for anything really.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been hit touch
I've
wood,
never
of
been in
course.
an accident of any kind. So
I will say it is also helpful if you see someone else in an accident, you can submit that on there to the police as well to help them. So it is useful for people around you.
There's also another benefit. There's also another benefit.
All right,
if you have a dash cam, Nick Roshan will not ride in your car anymore because he's afraid of being caught on camera saying some of his usual stuff. Right? Crazy Nick. Yeah. And so it's one more
That's smart.
Right. He's so afraid of saying it on camera that he says it right here on the podcast with 3 cameras pointed directly at him. And that just hits the cutting room floor.
Says, what? What's the problem? Was that wrong? Was that racist?
Yeah, like,
should I not have said that?
Let me choose another politically incorrect point to make up for that one. That's even worse than the first thing.
I won't say that thing about women. Let's just talk about gays. That's Nick Roshan.
That's our buddy. But no, I think it is useful, especially with a car of your price level now. I think it is worth doing. I would invest in a good one.
Yeah, it turns out mediocre ones are mediocre.
Yeah, I bought a good one.
Filippo, you will never do this. You haven't even unrated your wheels or untinted your windows.
You
will
don't have
never
any in your car except for the Sequoia where it came from the factory.
Oh, baby.
But you don't have it in your other cars.
I don't drive much.
He does.
I drive. My problem is I split my driving around between 9 cars, and I'm not putting it in 9 cars, and so that's kind of the end of the situation right there. And I don't want to put it in my wife's car because I don't think it would be helpful.
Yeah, you don't want some things you want to accept the liability of. It's better if there's no video evidence. Somebody should make like a really good battery powered one, or just like recharge the battery, and then it doesn't need to be plugged into anything.
Yeah, no, Filippo, they do. You know what it's called? Your cell phone.
There are mounts, I guess.
What do you mean you get?
Well, that's just impractical though, because like then you're recording the whole time. Those file sizes would be huge. Like there are reasons that these cameras.
Well, you
exist.
delete it if nothing happened.
Yeah, so every time you get out, you go, okay, nothing happened. That's just tedious.
He's right now talking about recharging the batteries every time. What's the difference?
Here, I'll tell you, do it right. Just do it right. If you're going to do it right.
I don't want to pull down the headliner.
entire time I've known him.
I don't want somebody else to pull down the headliner.
In the entire time I've known Kennan, Filippo has never done something right. He has always looked for a second rate. He's always looked for a second rate, like quicker, cheaper solution. Always, without exception.
Always.
Well, I love mine. To be honest with you, most of what I've done with it is capture wild things I see on the road with it and send it to our friend group, or I captured when I tore the front bumper off my M5. But I think that it is useful to have. I'm sorry to Steve that happened to him. But yeah, it can be useful in those situations.
Filippo, if you had to drive a modern Buick, which one would it be? Not a new Buick, but a modern.
Regal Touareg.
Yep, that's the right answer.
Fair.
Good car.
Fair. Okay, move on to our next Talk Car segment. Kennan, before we go any further, I'm curious, how's business going there? You launched your business.
I launched my business about a month ago now.
Yeah. Are we allowed to talk about this? Sean's going to yell at me later. Kennan, tell us about your business. I don't care.
So the way I can answer this really is that I have been sent a ton of cars. So I've been working with clients. So one thing I didn't do is I didn't say I wanted to work in California specifically. And so people have sent me their cars from all over. Today, a Ferrari test.
Not
to me.
pictures of their car.
No, not just pictures. The actual automobile. Whoa. So someone sent me a Testarossa that arrived this morning from Johnson City. Shout out to Dylan. Very excited to bring that
Johnson City, Tennessee?
Johnson City, Tennessee.
Yeah, those people that know the U.S. knew already.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't that many of them. It's not Johnson City, Illinois. There might be one.
There might be one.
There's a Johnson City in Texas.
But, well, yeah, this one came from further away. So
if you listen to country music, it's always Tennessee.
So that car came in. What it means, so that car came in. I have an E46 M3 with 28,000 miles. I can see over Filippo's shoulder. I have it's sold on cars and bids previously. I have a Miata that's coming with like 5,800 miles. You remember this car, the red one?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I love that car.
You reviewed it. It was here.
Yes, and that car's coming back again.
Where did it go? It was from New Mexico. Who bought it?
Went all the way to exotic Temecula. And that's where that's coming down to a Corvette collection, Kennan, oddly enough.
Kennan, you got any Buicks?
I don't have any Buicks. I do have a manual DB9 that's coming. I have so I've been driving a lot of really cool cars recently, and I also right now have a Continental GTC V8 that's live, which I had a point I wanted to bring to you about this car. I drove around in this thing recently. The W12 is awesome, but it is scary to own. But the way the V8 delivers power is impressive. It reminds me a lot of the W12, like the way
the V8 didn't exist. If the V8 didn't exist, we would just be the V8. If the W12 didn't exist, the V8 would be beloved in that car. But once you've been in the W12, you're like, this is
I know,
God.
But then you factor back in what it's actually like to own.
That's probably true. And the V8 isn't the V8 the same V8 in various other Volkswagen products?
The beauty of that car is it's the RS7 underneath, in essence. Right. So I took pictures underneath it, and it's like Audi everywhere. It's incredible.
So from a reliability perspective, it's better. But like, as you can see with the car behind Filippo, I like to own the thing. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, but like, it is interesting.
Well, there wasn't a V8 Countach you could buy instead.
Thank God.
I drove a Flying Spur W12 Flying Spur to Laguna Beach with my wife, the final edition.
I remember it.
I never take the press cars on personal trips. I think I have a whole thing about it, but that one I did because I just love, and I knew I would never own one myself. Anyway, the point is, I agree with you. The V8 is great. It does build power well. It feels good. It's got a lot of torque. But the W12 is God. It's God.
I don't disagree, but I was impressed with that car. Now, admittedly, it's the GTC, so the scuttle shake actually bothered me quite a bit.
Really?
It's really pronounced in that car. If the road isn't perfectly smooth, there's no road in San Diego is. There's some of the worst roads around. It does vibrate quite a bit. However, cruising around top down in a GTC V8, and the engine sounds good, and I really enjoyed the experience in that car. But so far, the highlight of the ones that have come is the Testarossa. I'm so excited about. I'm taking it up for service tomorrow, and then it's going to get a little bit of reconditioning, delete finish, and then it'll come back down here and it'll be on the site soon. It also has 98,000 miles.
Applause for the owner.
It comes with service documentation I've never seen anything like it. And it was owned by the Testarossa man on Ferrari Chat for 23 years. So it's the one. But nonetheless, it is so, I'm just I just have to say, like, I am so positively overwhelmed and just humbled by the response. I had some email glitches, so I'm catching up with some people on some things, and there have been some headaches and stuff, but like, I'm just having the greatest time driving these really cool cars and like finding them new homes. It's the best.
That's awesome. Having those cars like brought to, like delivered to you, you get to see them and experience them and present them and like touch them, and that's so special.
I have 7 to be clear that have arrived. It's like we're busy over here.
Any Hyundai Scoops?
You know, someone submitted one. I said, sounds like a great car to just send this to Filippo.
Yeah, send it to me personally.
Send it to Filippo personally, or Sean at carsandbids.com.
Any Fiat Fremonts?
Not yet. I don't know what that is.
It's the Dodge journey, and in Italy I saw a Fremont, and I just felt so sad for that person.
That's tough.
It
is not the Dodge journey.
Oh, really?
It is the Fiat Fremont. God.
Sorry, it's very similar to the car sold here as the Dodge Journey. Very similar. A couple small differences. The badges.
Are you going
to
tell me that the Lancia Voyager is the Chrysler Town and Country?
Pacifica. Yeah, I know. What was
picture of the Lancia Voyager, please?
No, don't.
Oh, come on, we have to.
Pull up a picture of the Lancia Voyager. I'd like to see what that car looks like. I just want to see it right now.
Oh, that is
they really put it
aggressively.
Which is also so sad because the European minivans were great.
Folks, this is the country that brought, this is the company. No. This is the company that brought us the Delta Integrale. This is what they've become. They're giving us high quality vans. You've never seen that van marketed as anything else. That van certainly wasn't sold as a Volkswagen. Let me tell you.
Well, I'll tell you what. You show this thing a rally stage, and you'll see what that Lancia badge can do for you.
Credit to them. It was their most consumer friendly product. No other car in the Lancia lineup, I think, had even folding seats, much less stow and go folding seats.
What motor did that have as a Lancia?
In this States, it only had 2.8 liter multi-jet diesel.
Gold.
The VM Motori diesels.
Oh, it's a 4-cylinder turbo diesel. Wow. Yeah.
I think they're also VM Motori ones.
150 horsepower. Oh, that must be an absolute trash.
It's as fast as everything else in Europe. 10 seconds 0 to 60. It works.
10
I'm guessing. I don't know.
I think we fell far from the Delta Integrale. Listen, I got an announcement. Sean, perk up. Put down your words with friends, Sean, and perk up. I'm making a lot of automotive moves.
Yeah.
And I think one of my big 3 will be affected.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Okay, let's move on to the next segment.
You're just gonna drop that there?
So give us one more line about it. One more sentence.
I will be doing something. Or not. I don't know.
Well, thank you for that.
That was helpful.
You're welcome. Appreciate it. I don't have any cars to add, and I don't want to. Sean gets mad at me when I reveal too much.
Yeah.
He wants it to be in a video so we can make more money. We're already making money on this podcast. Let's make more money. Sean comes to me, he says, we make money. But how can we make money on top of money? That's what Sean says when he calls me.
To be fair, every morning I call Sean 6 a.m. and just say, how are you going to make us more money today? And so it's only fair that he relays that.
How are we making money today?
More money. Not more money. The more is important.
I remember when I worked at Porsche, there was a guy who had been appointed to a high up position on the operations floor, and he was totally out of his element. And he had no idea what was going on. And he used to walk out from his office every day and go to the guy who did all the shipping, because the cars would be invoiced when they would get shipped from the port to the dealer. That's when we would make money as Porsche. And he would walk out to that guy and say, "Hey, how we doing today?" Every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. And of course, it was always about the same, like every day. There was no surprises.
Well, I remember
cars were already sitting at port. And that's kind of how I imagine your conversations go with Sean.
The owner of the exotic car dealership I worked at would walk in there and go, "Guys, what are we selling?" And that was
What are we selling?
What are we selling?
Same
cars as yesterday.
Anyway, one of the big 3 may be affected. All right, let's move on to the market report, which, of course, is brought to you by Cars and Bids. Cars and Bids is the leader in automotive selling and buying.
Yep. All right, can I start by talking about an E63 AMG Wagon?
Look at that 996 Turbo. Click on that 996 Turbo. Is that already sold by the time this airs?
By the time this airs, it will be sold. It's currently at $146,000.
Folks, you missed your chance.
Yep.
If you're watching this right now, you missed your chance for the best 996 turbo in history. A bright color and an X50 and a low miles. You missed your chance.
This is big money. I wouldn't be shocked if it goes up a little bit from where we're at. There's been bids kind of consistently over the course of the auction, including the last day or so as we're filming this.
Kennan, you look at these pictures. You want a 996 turbo?
No.
Really?
I do want one.
Pictures,
I do want one, but we've in our friend group, everybody's selling their turbos. This person is in our friend group, Edison. He's getting rid of it. You're going to get rid of yours.
I'm only getting rid of mine because I've bought a better car, the Mark IV Super Turbo.
Yeah, better. Strong word.
Better is a really strong word.
Does a lot, that word.
Well, a lot of lifting.
It just depends on how you use the car. And the way I use my car, the Super is better. But the turbo...
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? I take my kids and my dog. My Super Turbo, driving experience is fourth on my list of priorities for that car.
Right.
And the Supra probably drives like the 993 Turbo, but more importantly, it's more reliable, cheaper to own, and it looks 10 times cooler. And I know that might not be agreed by everybody. The Super Turbo is, in my opinion, I think of the general car enthusiast, a Mark IV Supra Turbo is cooler looking than a 993 twin turbo.
You're going to have that car.
And I know this is sacrilege on Ren List, but it's true in reality.
You're getting your account's banned.
I think once you experience, I think you're going to be bored of that car in 6 months tops. But
I don't understand. I use it to take my kids and my dog around.
No.
I think that your problem is that you think that every car has to be like the best driving experience. But there are some, like my Sequoia, I'm obsessed with it. It does this enormous amount of things. And it's not the best driving experience, but it is the best at delivering other things that I need it for. Do you understand?
If you're buying a fun sports car to transport your kids, then the driving experience should be good, seeing as they won't be in the car all of the time. And
they will. I only use the car when I'm taking
we prize looking cool differently, but regardless, I want to talk about that E63 AMG Wagon.
I prize enjoying it myself as opposed to what
Well, I have 3 cars, or maybe less than 3, or maybe more than 3, I don't know.
Who knows?
That I already do that with. This has a different purpose. Kennan, I'm going to educate you someday.
Oh, someday.
About automotive purposes.
I have one car that does it all, some would say. But let's get to the E63 because you want to talk about it. This is really cool.
This is a 6-speed manual swap. The first one that I've seen come to market. Obviously, our friend Nick Rochon has a different 6-speed manual swap.
55, not a 63.
Same gen, pre-facelift. $61,000. Clearly, the market really, really, really loved the idea of a manual swapped wagon, and also probably some of the other mods here that were generally quite high quality desirable.
Kennan, you want one car that does it all. This is one car that does it all.
This is one car that does it all, including have a shift knob from what is
that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. That is tough that that's the only one available, but
yeah, but it is so cool. I was obviously we knew it would do well, right? Like it's all wagons do well on cars and bids. All sporty wagons do well on cars and bids.
Yep.
All manual wagons do well on cars and bids. And they've built it was going to do well, but I am a little bit surprised by how much this went for. This exceeded certainly my expectations. Bodes well for our friend Nick in the future, but also I wonder if we'll see more and more of these, right? Like it's doable, it's a proven concept. There are multiple shops that are swapping Mercedes, the M113. It'll be interesting to see whether this becomes more of a trend now that there's some proof.
Curious about longevity.
You know what I'd like to see?
Personally.
You know what I'd like to see is a 65 motor swapped into that car.
Yeah.
Does the Novi 12 was ever offered in the E-Class?
No.
No.
And so I don't think, I'm not convinced it fits.
You think a manual was offered in the E63 wagon?
Well, no, but that doesn't change the sizing of the engine bay.
You could change the sizing of the engine bay. Haven't you seen, dude, the Renault Clio V6, they took the engine out of the engine bay.
Saw one this weekend.
That's the level of work product that you can do, okay? Nothing is impossible, Filippo.
Yes, but the point of this car is that you have 3 rows and you can't put the 3rd row in the front of the driver if you move the engine to the back. It doesn't really work.
That's a great idea. Now you're talking. 3rd row in the front and then make the hood cover clear like SoFi Stadium.
Oh, I was imagining no hood cover so that people could sit.
No.
I am excited by it. I'm thrilled by the result, and it's going to be interesting to see what else keeps happening. We've sold over our history cars and bids a bunch of really cool wagon builds. A B7 RS4 Avant build, an E61 M5 build. I actually think we have an E61 M5 build live right now. An F31
M3 build, wherever
we also sold an F31 with a Maserati engine swap. There's certainly interest in these that did so well. This F31, which was an M3 build, the manual swap. Clearly, there's a lot of demand for cool performance wagons. It'll be interesting to see whether we kind of keep seeing them more and more and more. A lot of wagons live.
A lot of wagons
live. What do you want to say about this LC500?
Yeah, we just sold an LC500 with 5,000 miles for about 17 grand over MSRP.
Wait,
LC500.
I'm looking at this Grand Cherokee sold for $8,000. Pull up this Grand Cherokee. I didn't buy this for $8,000. This is the worst moment of my life. Filippo, save me, please.
Oh, one owner.
Filippo, this was the nicest Grand Cherokee in history.
Buy it? What are you doing?
I thought about it. I thought it would sell for more. I want this car.
In Woodland Hills.
Yeah, Woodland Hills.
Arizona title. Probably been in
this is beautiful.
Wow.
Look at the interior. It's like horrible in the best way.
Oh, it's so well
Filippo.
Look like toes. Don't they? Big toes.
You know what missed out? You also missed out buying an LC500 new.
You know what the problem with this car is? My childhood and Filippo's childhood very different in terms of cars.
I rode in the back cargo area of that around the Cape as a kid. I have fond memories of doing so.
What do you mean? Weren't you in Italy? You got all these cross stories about how you were in Italy and you were in America. You got to pick a lane. Were you in Italy or were you in America?
Both. Incredibly, these did not disappear on a certain year. They were still around.
Oh yeah, no, they did. They absolutely did.
I was here when they disappeared. That LC500. Can you go back to it?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, we're already leaving the Jeep.
We are,
a good
100%.
4-liter Jeep. There is nothing like a good 4-liter
This car, which was
Jeep.
admittedly in a great color, good build, 5,000 miles, had a 110 sticker. So it's actually 20 grand more than sticker, which surely LC500s were going for under sticker at some point or another. Right? Like they weren't that desirable brand new. But
are they not for sale anymore?
No.
What?
2026 is the last year. 2025, excuse me, was the last year.
Really? I thought they were still in production for a little longer.
You know, the LC500 thing feels like the Heritage Land Cruiser. Like I'm sitting here today knowing that this is a car that's going to increase in value. And I remember I felt that way with the Heritage Land Cruiser. I know this car will increase in value. I don't really have a place for it in my life. I don't really want to park money in it. But I'm sitting here like literally in my mind, I can tell that this will be a desired enthusiast car for many years to come.
Yeah, I really want one. Maybe I should buy one.
It is surprising to see it still. It is still for sale. I'm sorry, I was wrong. 26 is the last year.
Thank you. Okay.
Still for sale in pretty limited numbers, is my understanding.
One of the great interiors.
It's rare that a car currently for sale, or even just recently out of sale, sells for over MSRP when you can be pretty confident that Lexus dealers are not charging ADM on a product that's been out for 7 years.
Well, it's desirable.
Here's a question.
NAV8, that interior, those looks.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Here's a question. Would you rather have that LC500 or that Grand Cherokee and a flatbed tow truck?
Let me do the math quickly. I carry the one.
Flatbed tow trucks ain't cheap, dude. I'm talking hydraulics, the whole thing.
LC. Although a tow truck could help you, especially enclosed.
Oh, I could be helpful on occasion.
What happened with Sean's G? I didn't follow it. Where did that go?
Sold for 45.
Sean's G, yes, producer Sean's G has gone on to a new home. 45.
He sold it to somebody. What was he in this for? Are we allowed to disclose this kind of stuff? Did he make money? Did he lose money?
My understanding is that the amount all in and the sale price are very close to each other.
So he did like okay on this car.
Well, I mean, the G market has fallen a little bit compared to when he first bought it. I think that this color did resonate with people.
Do we factor in his absolutely ridiculous trip to Oregon in order to purchase it? I
don't know. Sean's mental accounting is suspect at best, so probably not.
He used points to fly.
Oh, he used points to fly. So we're good. We don't have to count for those.
I'm surprised you could get a flight that fast with points, to be honest.
He has a lot of points. My understanding, by the way, is that it's going to get some work done before going to the new owners, which is exciting.
Is it going to be 4x4 squared converted, Sean?
It's going to nothing but G's.
It's going to nothing but G's to get some rust taken care of. Up in Colorado.
That's great. I think that's lovely, Sean. I think it's great that you've moved on from this car. You never were able to really sink your teeth into it. And for those of you who don't know, Sean has moved on to a 2000 Buick Century with a 3100.
He couldn't even splurge for the 3800?
The 3800 was not offered in that Century.
Oh, you're right.
It was only offered in the Regal.
He couldn't splurge? Surely the price difference is $10.
He
We're 30 we're 25 years out.
I'm just gonna tell you something. This is a true fact, and it is a fact. There is no one currently driving one of those 3100 Centuries who bought it. They were all handed down by a grandparent or a cousin, or their dad's dealership had one. You know, like the dad's a salesman and one came in on trade. Like no one went searching for one and bought one. Have we ever sold one? Pull up a Buick Century.
I think we have. Incredibly.
Like we have.
My wife growing up had a Buick Park Avenue that was indeed gifted by a grandparent, and then she subsequently gifted it to a friend, who then subsequently gifted it to a different friend.
That's what happens with these cars. That's what happens with these cars. This is exactly the Century I'm talking about. Nice 3100. Yep.
My sister-in-law, by the way, had a
this?
LeSabre, so Park Ave over LeSabre, you know.
Filippo, when you look at this, do you have a little bit of nostalgia from this period when you were both simultaneously in the United States and Italy?
I moved to the U.S. in 2002.
Okay. But this car was sold through like 06, 05.
I have nostalgia for this, yeah. Absolutely.
Let me ask you a question. You came to the U.S. in 2002 as like a 12-year-old. Were you, or 10-year-old or 7-year-old, when you came to the U.S. and saw that this country had these cars, were you like, oh my God, we've made a terrible mistake?
No. As a kid and still in Italy, where we knew people in the U.S., I had photos of like an XJ Cherokee that one of them owned because it was like the coolest, biggest car I could have fathomed.
The coolest, biggest car I could fathom. And then he showed up and there were Hummers. Time to move on to the questions.
Really.
The questions are interesting this week. Usually I prepare the questions so everybody can prepare ahead of time. However, I've been derelict. I actually wanted to take this podcast off, and I pitched that to Sean, and he told me I couldn't. So we're going to wing it today.
I love winging it. Let's wing it. Sean, or Kennan, you got questions?
What's that?
We could just solicit questions from our...
No, I'm going to do them, but I'm not going to tell you what's what. So go back to the... No, don't look at the questions. Go back to the main page. This is going to be a new experience for all of us. All right, there's the main page. We got that 996 Turbo. Looks pretty cool. So from Cavalieri, this is the first question. Hi, team. Could you explain how cash for clunkers changed the automotive landscape and market? This is a hot topic among Midwestern, like, low-budget
It really
cars.
is.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Because they think that it like destroyed everything and there are no more cheap used cars. And there is some truth to that. 400,000 Ford Explorers were destroyed, which obviously it hurt those of us who wanted to do a Jurassic Park build.
Yep.
But I think that the damage of cash for clunkers is done. I mean, those cars were all like early 90s cars. At this point, probably most of them would not be on the road anymore anyway. But it did take off, admittedly, it did take off the road a lot of reliable, easy to work on, simple, mechanically simple used cars. And that was the goal of the program. The program came out during the recession, and I worked at a dealership when this program came out. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of differing opinions about this, but if you worked at a dealer when this program came out, this was a lifeline. There were no cars selling. And this program created an opportunity for automakers and dealerships and factory workers to get a little bit of a new pipeline of cars selling, because basically the program was you traded in your old inefficient car and they gave you way more than it was worth in order to buy a new efficient car. And a lot of know-it-all enthusiasts are like, this ruined the car industry, but actually at the time it was quite beneficial. But it definitely did ruin the ability to have some of these cheap kind of older cars that could have been worked on. And so I do think it had some effect on the enthusiast market. Now, people look at the list of cars traded in on the cash for clunkers and they say, well, people traded in Land Cruisers. This was terrible. I mean, like a few. We're not talking about massive numbers of any of that stuff. But there was definitely an effect on, those cars. But again, I mean, a lot of the cars traded in were late 80s, early 90s stuff that at this point are coming up on 35, 40 years old. A lot of these cars would probably no longer really be on the market today anyway. Or on the road today anyway.
And they were quite inefficient. And we wouldn't have any 2009, 2010s cars for sale today if it weren't for the program. It's a mixed bag, obviously, right? But like the intent was not a bad one.
There are a lot of know-it-all car enthusiasts who say that it was horrible and there were no benefits. There were benefits. There were also drawbacks. And that's the truth of any program like this. And they knew that at the time. They knew at the time they were taking off the road. Now, also, it should be pointed out, a lot of the cars traded in cash for clunkers, people see the raw numbers and don't understand. A lot of the cars traded in cash for clunkers were literal clunkers. Yep. So the rule, I think, was that the car had to be running when you brought it to the dealership. And if it was running, then you got your money. And you should have, I worked at a dealership, worked at a Saturn dealership. A lot of our cars qualified for the rebate. You should have seen what people were bringing in as running. I mean, these are cars that were literally on their last legs, puffing out smoke, cylinder heads fried. The last mile it did was to the dealership.
Also, keep in mind, cars.
It wasn't just really pristine examples a lot of enthusiasts try to claim it was. And trust me, I know, I was literally there. I remember at the end of Cash for Clunkers, when they came to round up the cars, all of us at the dealership did a destruction derby with the crappy Cash for Clunkers cars in the dealer's back lot because some of them were so utterly terrible.
Yeah.
All of them, honestly.
They had to have been registered and insured for the year prior. They must be drivable. They had to have under a certain fuel economy. There was a requirement, I think it was 18 miles per gallon or worse.
Yep.
There are cars that likely would not be running now, period. Now, obviously, some of those Explorers, some of them would have been, it did remove a lot of cars that then could have been the cheap cars at that point, but it also introduced a whole lot of new supply that would have been really hard. And to some extent may have saved dealerships and the automotive industry in the U.S.
Yeah,
the U.S. is not the only place this happened. It was also true in Europe.
No one talks about this because car enthusiasts claim not to care about this, but it did actually serve a significant effect also at bringing more efficient cars on the road.
100%.
Ultimately, millions of cars were traded in on millions of V8, inefficient cars. Now, enthusiasts may not care about this, but you got to remember this was an Obama administration program, and that was one of their goals, in addition to various other goals like stimulating the economy, and that was one of their goals, and I think that they would argue that they achieved that goal as well, whether or not the enthusiasts, are supportive of it. I think it's important to maintain perspective on all issues and sort of look at nuance and all the different sides of things, unless, of course, we're talking about the electric LFA, which is just bad. Or the Luce. We didn't have talked about the Luce yet on this podcast this week.
I didn't get to talk about the manual. I have an opinion on this.
Oh, yes, please. So for clarity, we talked last week about the digital engine manual that's manual-ish.
What's your opinion? It better be the same as our opinion.
My opinion is I have absolutely no problem with it whatsoever. Yeah. I think that it is, which I think is reasonable. Which I still haven't listened to last week's podcast.
Pretty much
I've been a little busy, but yeah, I hope that they take that the reason they did it that way, with it being a dual clutch and kind of shift by wires, that they then apply that to other models. A manual 296 would be. Imagine
it's hard, but yeah.
I know there's more to it, but that's why they did it, I suspect, and didn't develop a manual transmission that could. Plus, also, everybody, the overriding opinion I heard everybody say is, why didn't they just take the 599 transmission and put it? It's like, the 599 made 612 horsepower. This thing makes almost 1,000. It's a big jump. It's like, it wouldn't work.
Totally agree with everything you said. That was our opinion last week on the podcast. We said that. I said that. Felipe said that. Nick said that, and then he made two racist jokes. So that was kind of how it
went.
So thank you for doing it without the racist jokes.
I omit the racism. But I am very into this. I'll never get to drive one. I'm sure they'll talk about it.
I'm sure that'll happen.
But as long as it feels good, I underscore all these opinions as long as it does feel like a manual. If it feels synthetic or anything like that, then.
Yep.
Okay. Next question from Brat Machine Sam. Rank all Lexus GX generations. Folks, there's only one Lexus GX generation.
There are three Lexus GX generations.
Not in my mind. There's only one, and it's the original. Pull up a nice 2009 GX 470. Pull it up!
That one's modified.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of...
Just a white one, this one, sorry.
Sure. Yeah, modified white. I never liked this generation GX.
Really?
I've never
Okay,
liked
but
any
that's
generation
what I
GX.
think of when I
to be
think
fair,
From the perspective, first off, they all had manuals, and that was the coolest part. They were all manual transmission.
yeah. You know
Pull
this
up the-
obviously. Go to the interior photo.
Hold
Look
up
at
the
that.
interior
Look at that manual.
photo.
It does look like a manual.
It's like a little bit up and to the left. It looks like you're in first gear when it's parked.
Keep going through those. Show the transmission selector a little closer for people who can't see. Every GX from this era looks like it has a manual transmission.
If you are walking
Even though
by,
they
it
were
looks like it's
all
parked in
automatic.
first. Yep.
Why did they do that?
It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. But if you
I'm into it.
look at it, look at that. Tell me that doesn't look.
It does look like a manual.
Totally.
First off, so they were all manuals. That was beneficial. But also the 2UZ. Ultimately, Filippo, I don't care what you say, because this was the most reliable powertrain ever put in any automobile in the history of Toyota. And it is, therefore, it is the GX. The other ones are simply a GX.
I've never loved any GX. Sorry. So that's fine.
That's insane. I mean, I don't. What is love to you? Like, I think these are ugly, and they're obviously inefficient, and they don't have good tech. But like,
Yeah.
they're robust.
To you.
But they're this is an incredibly good used car. They're robust. They're incredibly capable. They are unbelievably reliable. They're relatively luxurious. They're practical. Like, what are you trying to get out of your car that you don't love about this car?
Well, I like it to have not the issues that you laid out at the beginning there.
You don't want it to be ugly? Well, Filippo, I got a deal for you. You go pick up a 4th-gen 4Runner, same powertrain, and you got an attractive car.
I agree with that. That's the issue. The 4th-gen 4Runner is an attractive GX.
The early ones were better looking, and then
Yeah.
it kind of got worse. And then the new one, I'm not actually that. It's very controversial to say, but I don't really love the new GX.
Yeah, same. I also don't love the new Land Cruiser accordingly.
Next question from Ian Greer. Dear Doug, love the pod. Doug and group, love the pod. I hear you guys reference the mid-2000s as the peak of modern cars. Yes. Mm-hmm. Next question. No, and I agree. I'm curious why I don't hear any love for the 04, 05, 06 GTO and the G8, GT, and GXP. Absolutely. We don't bring them up enough, I think, because Pontiac died right after that, and we're thinking about modern brands when we're talking about this stuff. But those were part of it. Those cars were absolutely part of it. In this era, in 04, the mid-2000s, when all the cars were cool, Pontiac revived the GTO. And then the next year, they gave it an even bigger engine with even more power, and it's incredible. I mean, the GTO actually came back, and the G8 was incredibly cool. There was V8 power. It was a serious car.
So I
it
love the
absolutely deserves that.
Look great. Thank goodness Australia for giving us both the cars.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
my kind of car, honestly.
Thank you, Australia, for giving us those cars and the Mercury Capri.
Yeah, equally notable.
From 2008 E60 EKB. Dear Doug and friends, if you lived in Europe, what would you want to be your daily? Ooh. Let's say we're in Milan for the sake of argument, because that makes sense for all of us. For various reasons.
It does.
Let's say we're in Milan. Filippo,
love that.
Kennan, what are you dailying?
That's so hard. Does it have to be a brand new car, or can it be anything?
No. What do you want a daily? A Hupmobile? You're there.
I already do that. Let me see. Let's. What would I want?
It would certainly be a station, like a small to mid-sized station wagon. Peugeot 308, I think it's a good-looking car. The DS station wagons also look good. Fiat at the moment, let's be honest, doesn't have any super compelling products, but I would also have a Fiat 4x4 of any generation except for the newest one. Sorry, Panda 4x4, not the newest one, but every one prior.
Yeah.
That, and I think my sporty car would be a Fiat Panda 100.
Wow, you've got this all figured out.
Yep.
And honestly, none of them are that appealing.
Yep.
It all fits perfectly.
I am who I am. I'm just being true to it.
Really,
Kennan, give us the truth here.
I'm really trying to think. I personally, in that city, I would love the Microlino. Isn't that the new electric, like BMW Isetta looking thing?
Yeah.
You would drive that daily. You drive around on a new Isetta looking micro
In
thing?
Milan, I'm going like 8 feet to get places. It's tiny.
Milan is a big city. No. This isn't like you're in Filippo's bedroom.
That's a perfect
You're in
city
Milan.
That one I can use to cut around.
But
things.
you also got to go to the outskirts. You're in Monza.
If I'm a Monza, I don't know. Well, I mean, M3 Touring would be the one I would.
I don't do
pick,
automatics though. So
You're not dailying that. You're not dailying that in Europe for. I want
It's
a real
expensive.
answer. What you're in Europe today? You got to go buy a car.
Peugeot
What are you
308
buying?
station wagon hybrid manual. I believe it exists.
I understand you have answered the question properly, Kennan. You have your current budget, and I'm trying to advocate here for
I
a
guess
friend.
that would be expensive.
What do you got? What are you getting? You're in Europe.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of things that I would want that we didn't get, and most of them are like French cars.
What about
I
a
would
Polo
love-
GTI or a Polo, whatever the sporty one is called?
Up exclamation mark would be fun too.
It's small. You're not a small car guy.
No, but I feel in Europe. I went to Europe. I had a big SUV, which was fast and powerful
Had
and
a
very
guardrail.
fun. And boy, was it perfect for the autobahn. You were wrong about that. But I realized that in Italian cities and other cities, a smaller car is definitely better. Actually, the new French electric. What's the Renault? The electric.
The Renault 4 or 5 both
Yeah,
exist.
I love.
They
that
look
thing.
great.
I think that thing is so cool.
The Renault 5 is cool.
And I would imagine is Milan restrictive on emissions and
Yes.
stuff to drive in town? So then you would need
Plug-in
something like that.
hybrids also work though.
Okay, but I think that is the coolest thing out there right now.
Yeah. The Renault 5 is incredibly cool. Agreed.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what my
probably what I
answer
would
is?
A T-Roc convertible.
E39 M5.
Yeah, I can't really. I already
can't.
do it.
You
And
can't.
You can't there. It's gonna get smashed to bits there.
You also can't pay for gas.
No.
It's actually only like $10 a liter. Sorry, a gallon. It's actually not that much more than it is here, but it's still 50%.
But it's a lot
more.
on a car that gets 11 miles to the gallon.
Is that what you
No,
get?
Filippo.
Yeah, the
Filippo,
city,
with
yeah.
3 children, what would I get? Like an XC90? Isn't that what people have in Europe?
There
You can't
are
get
a
Toyota
lot
and
of
stuff.
there's a lot of like MPVs type things. They're just practical family vehicles.
There really aren't that many. There's like the Mercedes vans. What else?
Well, you want luxury? Oh, well, that's
no. What other minivan? Minivans are dead in Europe. They don't exist anymore.
Minivans are dead, but like MPVs that have the 3 rows of seats are still around.
You think I'd have like a Citroen, whatever the new big Citroen is?
You should have the Hyundai, whatever the wild looking thing is.
I'm not gonna get a Hyundai just because I live in
Staria.
Milan.
The Staria.
No.
Look
Yeah,
up the
but
Staria.
dude, I
Pull up
can't.
the Hyundai Staria.
I'm in Milan now. I want to fit in. You know what I would get? Lancia Voyager, 150 horsepower, 4-cylinder, baby.
You want to fit in a Lancia Voyager? Good luck.
Oh,
Look at this. It's like a futuristic looking minivan.
Right. It looks like Daft
You
Punk's
think I don't
helmet.
know? Is that even for sale in Europe? I see them in Asia. I saw them in Australia.
Yeah. No, it's good to go to Europe.
That's good.
Okay, final question from El Farah03. Dear Doug, Filippo, I want you to weigh in on this, but it's Dear Doug. You mentioned in a previous episode you may move towards having an off-road vehicle such as a Jeep in the future, and you wanted to know what contributed to your decision to want a Jeep over a Bronco. Is there a large difference in reliability, or does reliability influence your decision at all? I'm going to get a Jeep. I have to sell my convertible G-Wagon, and I'm going to get a Jeep to replace it. And I'm going to get a Wrangler 392. Filippo, tell the people why I'm getting the Jeep over the Ford.
There's a V8 offered.
Boom!
And
There it is.
that's it.
Folks, this was a great podcast. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
It's a good reason as any.
You know, there's actually 2 reasons. There's a V8 offered, and the Bronco Raptor, although it is a cool car, is the most socially unhinged. You see
product
these
for
things?
sure. Yeah.
You see these things driving around? Like, I think it's cool as hell, but I would never in a gazillion years drive such a vehicle. And especially
have a
when you
regular
factor in
one,
the
but-
Jeep, the Bronco Raptor looks like that and doesn't have a V8. The Jeep Wrangler 392, I dare Kennan to tell apart a Wrangler 392 from a regular Wrangler.
I can.
And it
I
does have a
absolutely
V8.
Well, the sound is instantly recognizable, and
The
also
sound, yeah.
that exhaust tip thing they do with the low. I know what I'm looking for. The 392. Don't mess with me.
But what are you going to look at every Jeep? Like, also, it's like 1%.
I notice them. I do notice them when I see them. It's not often, but I do notice them.
There's a new trim, which is what I'm going to get. It's like a super base level trim. And the only way you can tell the exhaust, and then also there's a 392 badge on the top of the hood because there's a little hood bulge and it says 392 on the top of it. Other than that, the newest ones are like untellable. And that is the primary reason that I looked at the Bronco Raptors and I'm sitting in this thing and I'm like, this is so over the top, absurd. I cannot participate in this situation.
Yeah.
No, having that parked in a charming New England fishing village is like,
ultimately, the Jeep has more power and a V8. Like, that's the problem solver right there. Am I wrong? Do people think I'm wrong? If you think I'm wrong, write to us at Sean@carsandbids.com. That's SEAN at carsandbids.com. And put in the subject line, bad color G-Wagon.
He has too many emails that say that already.
Filippo,
yeah.
you have any final thoughts for the podcast?
Yeah. The Buick Riviera has been on my mind.
Oh, yeah? The front-wheel drive, the
The
3800
late
one?
90s Buick Riviera, yeah. We were talking
Pull it
about
up.
Buick 3800s.
Pull it up. Pull
You
it
gotta
up.
like
This is a horrible
specify
car. Have you ever been in one?
1995, 1994.
Have you ever been in one?
No, I've never been in one.
Horrible.
there it is.
Cash for
there's
Clunkers
one in
should
our
have been expanded
neighborhood.
to include these.
The fuel economy was not bad enough.
Yeah, I know, but they should have made an exception. They should have made a carve-out. Cars must
The
have this level of
back
fuel
is
economy or
wild,
be a
too.
Buick Riviera.
It's very concept car looking. I have to say.
That is the concept. The,
Well, I know
the real
that
car
one is.
too.
I'm just saying in general, it looks like it does look
Look at
like.
that.
Yeah, I mean that's hard to believe that a committee went, yes, that's what we want.
This
was
is a real
at a different
car.
time. This was at a time when
looked
like a
good.
big. This was at a time when like a big two-door car was still like a thing, and everyone had them. Honestly, oh my God, what happened here? Everyone had them. Ford had multiple. They had the Thunderbird and the Mercury Cougar, which were both like these big. Lincoln had one called the Mark 8. Like it was not uncommon to have like big luxury coupes and convertibles. There was the old Cutlass at the time,
And it
and there were a
looked
bunch
good.
of different ones.
To be fair. And it was supercharged, had 240 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque.
Well, they were offered as supercharged. Almost none of them are supercharged. And either way, it was stunted by a trash 4-speed automatic transmission.
Do you know that they made 90,000 just about? They sold 41,000 the first year.
I'm telling you, at that time, remember, they made a Camry coupe. They made a Honda Accord coupe. Like, cars in that era, like a two-door car, 4-seater two-door was like pretty common. Like, there was a Chevy Cavalier. Like, everything was like, there was a 4-door and a 2-door version. It was not that weird.
True. And look good.
And it all went away. Kennan,
All right.
It all went away.
That it did. Well, it's a shame. It's a shame. Anyway,
Speaking of going away, goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.
goodbye.